Greetings, Kikis and Hakus. This is Mad Hair Patrick. We are familiar with Studio Ghibli's work with its pure imagination, memorable characters that the audience love and can relate to, breathtaking storytelling and themes, and not to mention the unbelievable animation. It's no surprise that everyone is familiar with Studio Ghibli's traditional hand-drawn animation. However, they have tried out new forms of animation. A good example would be The Tale of Princess Kaguya and My Neighbor the Yamadas. But given the war between 3D versus 2D animation, I'm guessing Studio Ghibli decided to give it a try on 3D.
Yes, your eyes are not lying. This is a Studio Ghibli movie. This is actually the first ever 3D CG anime film made by the studio. It started when the founder of the studio, Hayao Miyazaki, told his son Goro to make a TV movie based on a novel by Diana Wynne Jones. In fact, he stated he's the only one in the studio that knows how to do CG animation. Although it's the first 3D anime film made by Ghibli, it's not the first CGI project they ever made. Before it, there was a computer anime series called Ranha the Robber's Daughter, which Goro also directed. As for Earwig and the Witch, the film got a limited release in theaters and then later became available on HBO Max, giving the public a chance to see the newest Studio Ghibli movie since When Marnie Was There in 2014.
Welcome to another episode of The Wonder Reviews. It's time for this new movie to take center stage. This is Earwig and the Witch.
A young woman is on the run until she sends her baby to an orphanage. Years later, the little girl, Earwig, gets adopted by two unusual parents who are secretly a witch and a mandrake. The witch forces Earwig to do some heavy lifting chores, but Earwig demands to learn some magic. So Earwig will do whatever it takes to learn some magic and most importantly, take full control of her new home. Since this is the first time Studio Ghibli is doing a 3D anime movie, how does it hold up? Well, this is the scenario where the animation does look good on paper, and only on paper. Starting with the designs, they do capture the same Ghibli style from the previous movies, yet they do not translate well into 3D. Sometimes it does work on the surreal characters like Bella Yaga and the Mandrake, but when it doesn't on normal characters like Earwig, she looks like a cartoon. The only thing that's decent within the characters are their movements. It has its moments to be relaxed and be down to earth. For the backgrounds, this is also the problem why it should have been reserved to hand-drawn. The town, the orphanage, and even the magic house don't look that engaging. However, it can have some nice lighting and special effects like from the Mandrake's temper, whenever Earwig or Bella cast a spell, or when the demons do all the work.
Now, I'm not against Studio Ghibli into making a 3D anime film. I am open to look at something different. In fact, there have been several 3D anime films that turned out really well, including the one TV show Goro directed, which I have heard good things about it. It's just that the rendering on this movie feels incomplete. If the rendering was a lot better, this movie would look like a movie than a video game needing a patch update. Actually, the disappointment for me is not really from the animation. It's the entire story.
The major issue with this movie is that there's no story driving the entire feature. Remember those journeys the characters had to go through, or there's a hidden moral that makes them mature? This one doesn't have any of those. I know it's considered a television film, but the script to the movie is such a disappointment. It's just Earwig trying to gain full control of this house so she can learn magic from Bella. That's it. Nothing is explored about her past. Well, they do, but it's not looked into it that much. We don't even really see her do proper magic training. It's just work on chores, shouting about wanting to learn magic, find multiple ways to cast a spell, avoid getting spotted, and then later make Bella and the Mandrake mad. That's the whole repetitive story. What's worse is that the character we are supposed to follow is possibly the most despicable brat! At the beginning of the movie, Earwig takes control of the orphanage to get what she wants and manipulate her caretakers and the kids with no consequences of her actions. Same thing when she enters the house. She whines about she wants to be a witch and make people like Custer, Bella, and the Mandrake a living nightmare. She's a combination of Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka and Caillou. When I look back at some of the other Ghibli protagonists, they felt genuine and you do understand the goals and struggles they were going through. Kiki was relatable because she was looking for a place to fit in and being independent for the first time. Chihiro was relatable because he was trying to be brave even through toughest times. Seda was someone you connect with because he was trying to survive the war with his sister all by himself despite these grim occurrences, and he should at least swallow his pride. Why should I connect to Earwig when all she wants is power? Yeah, Bella was rotten and is considered the villain a la Lady Tremaine, but couldn't Earwig just find a way to get out of the house, find her true mother, or simply earn her desires through determination and love from others rather than force it to happen?
It takes less than a day to animate any of those scenes to reach the 80-minute mark.
The house is nice, but we want more about this Earwig band. Also, there's another talking can in it for some reason.
Oh, also, the mother at the beginning is a character, but we never figure out why she's on the run or the point of Earwig as a character. It would have been interesting if we explore more about this rock band she formed and the 12 witches she said are chasing her, especially in the opening, but we learn nothing about what's going on. The only character that is a three-dimensional character is the Mandrake. He's not only conceptually interesting with his powers and his unique design, but he also has a distinct personality, which he's always upset, he never smiles, and has a backstory that's the closest to connect this entire movie.
There's another plot element in the movie, and that's the use of rock and roll music. Admittedly, it is a cool idea to make a movie about a rock and roll witch, but like the story, it has no purpose, connection, or theme that ties into any of this. So, I never thought I'd say this, and I really never want to admit this, but I didn't like this Ghibli movie.
Earwig and the Witch is a lackluster movie that doesn't share any Studio Ghibli magic. Sometimes the animation is decent and the Mandrake is interesting, but it still feels like a missed opportunity to make a movie about a rock and roll witch. The script is poorly written, the animation still needs a patch update, and the characters are either underdeveloped or often unlikable. My recommendation is just pass on this movie. But there is one thing I think you should watch instead of this. Watch Disney's The Owl House. I just found out after watching this that it's shockingly weird how similar both Earwig and The Owl House are, where it's about a girl being looked after a witch who wants to learn magic with some goofy hijinks. However, The Owl House is well executed, it has beautiful animation, a likable protagonist, memorable characters from the Boiling Isles, and great storytelling and themes. If this television film was made as a pilot for Earwig, then it's already not a good first impression. I never wanted to do this, but I just didn't have fun watching this. I got to give this film a D+ and send this to the flames of failure.
This is actually the first ever Studio Ghibli movie that I ended up not liking it. Even if this movie was hand-drawn, I still don't see myself watching it again. I know Goro doesn't share the same mind as his dad, but I still enjoy his works like from Up on Poppy Hill, and even have a fun time watching Tales from Earthsea. The only way I consider Earwig and the Witch work as a movie if it focused on the Earwig band. Like have Act 1 focus on Earwig's origins and living in the orphanage. Act 2 would be about living in her new home and learning about her long-lost mother while also learning some magic. And the third and final act will be focusing on the use of music and bringing the band back together with Earwig on stage. And if that's not magic enough, then I don't know what is. I'm Mad Hair Patrick. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to take some broomstick riding lessons. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe me for a new review and other project every week. I'll see you soon.